Let's be honest, if you're watching this video or you're on this channel, it means that at some point you've probably wanted to build one of these. Maybe not specifically exactly this model, but we've all wanted to have our own robot companion or pet. So in this video, we're going to take a look at a very simple approach to building our own robot dog. Hello everyone, this is Yulia and welcome back to engineering. Now on this channel, we've explored quite a range from turning on our first LEDs and testing out microcontrollers to more advanced electronics projects and even blurring the line on where those turn into real robotics projects, all the way to physical AI like the SO101 arms, which can run VLAs and learn to perceive their environment and do some really advanced machine learning things. And there's a lot to explore on this vast range between turning on an LED and having a humanoid robot in your house. And the project we're going to take a look at today kind of fits right in the middle of this trend, where it's built with a lot of electronics components that we've probably seen before, but adding a lot of custom Python code and functions and built-out capabilities turns it into something more advanced, where ChatGPT gets involved, and all of a sudden we have this really intelligent robotic thing. And I'm of course talking about PiDog, my new robot companion that I've put together. Now I got this from SunFounder and it comes in this really easy and useful kit. It comes with all the electronics components that you need to build it, along with this really cool metal body. And of course it comes with all the functions and the programming needed to actually harmoniously run all these different components and sensors together. So today we're going to test it out and see how it works. Now I think getting some of these kits is actually a really cool idea and a great way to experiment with a lot of different sensors and the way that they would work together. While for example for the robot arm, we've taken the approach of trying to build it completely from scratch to kind of understand what is needed and how the components can build on top of each other. When it comes to a really big project like this, I think it's also really useful to look at it from the other perspective. Because let's be real, if we wanted to build this from scratch, it would take so many components and so much time to integrate all of it together. But of course, it would be possible. For example, we already have quite some things in our little electronics drawer. If we take a look, of course, everything starts with a board to run everything. We will be using one of the Raspberry microprocessors because this is quite some serious computing that is going to need to be done. And then we start adding sensors and components to both take in the input and have the output, in this case, probably the robot moving or barking or doing dog-like things. Starting off with some of the more obvious aspects, we of course would use a Raspberry camera component and an ultrasonic sensor to have the depth perception and the kind of seeing obstacles that a dog would find very useful. Similarly, we can use the classic speakers to allow the dog to make noises, bark, growl, whatever we would need it to. And of course, if we wanted to move, we will just add a lot of different servos that we would need to combine and put together to kind of simulate the joint movements like we did for the robot arm, but times 4. We can also add visual elements like the lights, perhaps a more complex LED component, or a bunch of normal LED components. And of course, because we have a lot of different lights and a lot of different servos, we'll probably also want the additional driver boards that help maintain them and coordinate them a little bit better, like the VLED driver or the servo driver, and we would add them on top of the Raspberry Pi to help make the control a little bit smoother. And on top of that, we will need wires. A lot of wires and cables. And of course, finally, the actual body of the robot, which we could probably 3D print and have it done like we did for the robot arm, or maybe we can make it out of robotic Lego or some other type of material, but you get the drift, it gets really complex. So at this point, it kind of makes more sense to just start with a kit. You get one box with all your different components, they're all compatible and work together on the same version, they can be easily assembled and put together, they're designed to fit around an actual body, you have the actual metal parts and everything you would need. So yeah, I do think in cases like this, the kits, if they exist, are a great way to get started. Which leads us to this, our beautiful robot companion that we've put together. Now, don't get me wrong, it still takes a little bit of time to assemble and construct. I actually used one of the snowy days we had here in the Netherlands to assemble this, which was an incredibly cozy day. If you're someone who liked playing with Lego or building IKEA furniture, robotics is basically a perfect combination of the two. You have your instructions, you're putting everything together. It just has a lot more screwing than Lego usually does, but it's still quite fun. The paper instructions that the kit came with, along with the video instructions on the SunFounder website, were pretty clear, so I don't think I need to add anything on top of that. When it actually gets fun is having the robot assembled and being able to start playing with it. Part of setting it up was calibrating the different servo components, which is quite a common task to do for different robotics. We've also done the calibration for the SO101 arms. This was very similar. You had to make sure that the angles in the physical model correspond with the digital interpretation of it so that the robot can actually walk and do push-ups and whatever else it needs to do kind of smoothly. Yes, I said the robot does push-ups. that makes a lot of sense. And then finally, we're actually able to run it. Now, it's still important to remember that all of this, all the extra stuff that we have on top, is still built on a Raspberry Pi. So at the end of the day, this is still its very own computer, which means that we can connect these peripherals together, and I gave it a keyboard, a mouse, and this tiny little Raspberry style screen that I'm using to make sure that everything runs smoothly, and we're doing some initial debugging. So what I first did is I made it run through some of the basic commands that are already pre-programmed and very easy to run through. However, to make it a little bit easier to follow along and to get rid of all these cables, it is very important to note that we can also use SSH to control the robot remotely from another computer. So I'm actually going to remove all of this so we can play with it on the table a little bit easier. So there we have it. We have this main function demonstration script that allows us to just run through all the different motions that the robot is able to do, such as stand, sit, lie down with the hands out. Ooh. This is so cute. We've got wag the tail. And of course, we also have some of the sounds that it can do. Now, beyond these basic functions, there are also more complex protocols that have been put together by SunFounder, like, for example, the patrol element that allows you to look around, detect objects, and react to it. And also different advanced functions based on the different sensors that it has. It has a camera, so of course, we're going to have some camera applications like detection and face tracking. So it's able to actually see its owner and follow it around with its little head. So if you wanted to play with any of these components, I think this is a great place to start because you have some ready-built functions that allow you to experiment with it. So again, I think this illustrates really beautifully that this is just the other edge of the same types of projects that we've been exploring before. In my How to Get Started with Electronics video, I've explained how taking a particular sensor can lead to building a project around it. And we've actually tried to use this ultrasonic detection to measure the distance and have a response when something is too close. And that is the exact same component that is being used in this robot. So you're more than able to put together all these different building blocks yourself, both from the components perspective and the code perspective. And this is just the result of having them all together, just a little bit quicker and a little bit easier than having to build it completely from scratch. It's just up to you to kind of choose your own adventure of what makes the most sense. Okay, but to go a little bit further than that, we want to explore the most advanced parts of this PiDog, which is the integration with large language models. Specifically, we can install different LLMs to run either directly on the Raspberry Pi or remotely within your local network, and then with that, you're able to use commands with voice as well as text and make it have more intelligence. So what we've done is we've connected back to the Raspberry, and I've plugged in the Ethernet to give a little bit of extra juice. I've pulled and locally installed Ollama, which is an open source model, so that's a little bit better and nicer to have it run on your own terms. And we're now able to chat with our dog. So let's take a look at how that works. Hey, buddy.
Hi there.
Can you say welcome back to engineering?
Asterisk ears perk up asterisk ahaha. You're speaking my language now. Welcome back to engineering asterisk dramatic pause asterisk the land of circuits, wires, and servos.
Can you show off some of your skills for the people who watch my robotics YouTube channel?
Let's put on a show for the back to engineering crew. Asterisk asterisk first, I'll demonstrate my agility with a little dance party asterisk asterisk. Walking around in a circle woohoo. Check out my servos in action. Asterisk bend knees. Navigation skills with a mini obstacle course asterisk asterisk. Asterisk spin around asterisk and done. Extend my front paw, followed by my back paw. Nice to meet you. Ultrasonic sensors are online. Ranging accuracy within 10 cm. Touch sensors on.
Well, it can talk, but it can't necessarily walk the walk, if you know what I mean. And there we have it. We've tested out the little PiDog and all the different movements that it can do and some of the more advanced functions, although I would say it's still quite not advanced enough. There's a lot we can do with custom code and running the different LLMs ourselves and making it do some more intelligent things, and that's something we'll take a look at in the future, building our own intelligent robot with a different approach. But I still think having a kit is a really fun way to get started and to learn. You can experiment with a lot of different sensors gestures and a lot of different combinations of actions without having to completely build it up. So I think it's definitely something that everyone who works with electronics should start at least once. Doesn't have to specifically be a dog. You can try a car or a crawler thing or a humanoid or a more advanced robotic arm. But I think it's fun to switch between building something completely by yourself and having some of the more advanced things that you can try and get different experiences. So for the next projects, we'll go back to building a few different things. Stay tuned. There's definitely more advanced robotics projects coming your way, and I can't wait to share them all with you. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and we'll see you in the next episode.